So today, Baba's children who have finished the course have joined. So I can see some Abhirami sister or brother, I don't know, Geeta Ben and Kavita Ben and Sunita Ben and Vindhya Ben. So I can Aarti Ben also. So I can see some names and I welcome you all to this class of Murli churning. So we will understand a little of the Murli and churn on some points that Baba has spoken in today's Murli. Now, today Baba talks about not forgetting the days of childhood. And it is interesting that you all have joined for the first time in this class for the Murli. So it is actually childhood for you. So you know what Baba refers to as childhood in this path of knowledge. So when we come to Baba, we are supposed to be children, and this is a new birth. So we are children of Baba, that's one thing, but this is a new birth. So I'm a little child. So when the language we speak is when somebody asks you, how old are you? So you tell your age. So if you are, so right now you're 21 days old. So since you've come to Baba 21 days back, so you're 21 or 22 days old. So that is your age in Gyan right now. And don't forget the day you join the course, because that's your Alaukik birthday, the day when you came to Baba. So you were born to Baba. So, or reborn to Baba rather, because we are all Baba's children, but we recognize Baba in this corporeal world every 5,000 years. So, Baba says that don't forget these days of childhood, because when we recognize Baba, then we feel a lot of happiness. We feel a sense of attainment. Do you feel that? Would you like to speak? Somebody who would like to answer? If you would like to, please raise your hand and then I can unmute you. And even if you want to speak with your video off, no problem. You could just unmute and speak and share whether you feel that love, that joy of belonging to Baba in this, in this corporeal world, in this corporeal birth. So I think don't think anybody has raised the hand, but okay, you must be having some thoughts, but maybe you're not ready to share right now. So if you want to feel like, you can later also you can write to me on WhatsApp. Now you see what is very interesting about belonging to Baba is that there is one brother and he just completed the course. He was coming to the center, and yesterday he was asking me one question. He just asked me that I don't feel that love or that that affinity for Baba. And he said, is it normal, or am I the only one not feeling it? Because he says, I can see that love in your eyes. I can see that love in the eyes of the sister who gave me the course, but then I don't feel that love. So, or that happiness of belonging to Baba. So I was just telling him that, when suppose your Lokik father. So, Lokik father is the father of the body. Suppose your Lokik father and you, the child, got separated in childhood. Then, if you met him after 20 years, would you feel drawn to the father? No, not naturally, right? Because you would recognize, somebody would tell you that this is the father, but you wouldn't feel that gush of love for that father, because now it's been 20 years and you have forgotten that love has kind of dried up. But then, if you just hold in your awareness that this is my father, and you start connecting and exchanging with your father again, then slowly, gradually, that love that had withered will start getting watered, and it'll again grow. And again, that state of very fresh love in your heart will start to emerge. So, but it is similar with Baba. So, Baba gave us the inheritance last cycle. Baba made us, transforms us into from a human to a deity. And he does that every cycle. And we have a lot of love for Baba in our heart. But what happens is when we again come to Baba, it takes some time to realize and recognize that this is the one I had been looking for. And until then, you just keep making some effort with that conviction that this is the Father. Just like you perform an experiment, you take a hypothesis and then you keep experimenting until you experience. Similarly, here also, you keep knowing with that deep knowing in your heart because you have received the knowledge that this is the true Father, the Shiv Baba that has come into Brahma Baba's body is your Father. And the one who is speaking to you, the one who is teaching you is your Father. With this knowledge, holding this knowledge in your awareness, you just try to have yoga with Baba. Even if you don't feel more than, you don't feel Baba more than a point of light, at least you understand that, this is a point of light. He's there in the soul world. Even if you are not able to connect with the, with the living, with the life in the point of light, still, just take your awareness to Baba in the soul world and sit there, even if Baba doesn't feel more than a point of light to you right now. But you keep doing that. And, it is interesting how Baba's remembrance, even this effort to remember Baba, is very powerful, and it starts cleansing you of your body consciousness, and you slowly start getting that feel or that experience that this is Baba, and you start connecting to the living being that the point of light is. So there's a difference between Baba, the point of light, and a point of light. So the living being that Baba is, because Baba is a point and an ocean. So Baba is a point in form, but then Baba is the ocean of peace, ocean of love, ocean of joy. So you will start feeling all those gifts from Baba, and your aprons of the intellect will start filling. But for that, you have to first try, make an effort, and then slowly. And if in any BK's life, somebody asks, when you started, when was the day you really connected with Baba, or you felt Baba, then nobody can tell when that day was. Because you keep doing it, and then suddenly you realize that you're good at it and you are really experiencing Baba, and you don't know when that shifted, because you kept trying, and then Baba also kept trying to purify you, and then one day that alignment happened, and then you started having yoga with not a point of light but with your sweet Baba. So this transformation will happen. You will have this journey, but just keep making that effort. And that is what is called the joy of childhood. So when we come to Baba, and the time when you start recognizing and realizing that I have Baba with me is the most beautiful time. It's the experience of having the highest attainment. And then Baba says, you have to remember that childhood. Because what happens is then, Maya or the negative force around us, it starts distracting us. And then slowly our priorities start changing. So, sometimes you will see that children will start making excuses for attending class, or, this is happening or that is happening. And then what happens is, because, when the stomach is full, you feel like that, you don't need to, you are not attracted to food, but that's because your stomach is full. And then what happens is, when you don't eat for a while, you'll again be empty. So this knowledge and yoga is food for the soul. And then what happens is, when Baba fills the soul with this food and the soul is full, then the soul starts making excuses, because when you feel full, you feel like, oh, I've got what I looked for, so why make effort now? And then what happens is, you again go back to being that same unhappy, looking for peace soul. So that's why Baba says, never forget the days of childhood when Baba made so much effort on you, sustained you. And you see, it is our duty to grow. It is not our duty to reach a certain stage and then again go back to being a child, and again come back to again receive sustenance, again waste Baba's time. That's not our duty. There are many children, what they do, they do the course, and then they stop their journey, and then later, after 6 months, they'll again say, let me do the course again. But would you like a child, if you have a child at home and he goes to school and nursery, KG, the LKG, UKG, and then again nursery? Would you like that? No. And that too after losing 6 years. Again, after 6 years, he says, no, no, let me go back to nursery. No, why? Because that is not growth. But that is what happens. That is why Baba says, don't forget the days of your childhood. Baba has made so much effort on you, and that happiness is there. And then again, when you start not appreciating it, then you lose that happiness. And then again, you will come back to Baba. Yes, Baba will again treat you well. It's not like Baba will say, no, don't come back to me. But then that is not growth. So this is why, it's very important that we don't forget the days of our childhood. We don't forget how much effort Baba has given on, making a yogi out of a bhogi soul and teaching us the ways of, knowing ourselves, knowing the ways of the world, knowing the patterns of the universe. Everything Baba has made us know. And now we need to put that into action, put that into practice. So this is something that Baba says. And then the other part of the song is, if you forget the days of childhood, then today you are smiling and tomorrow you will cry. So, let's not make that mistake. Let's not make that mistake of crying again. So this is one thing. And then today, Baba talks about giving Baba's introduction to everybody. And have you seen that when anybody comes to Brahma Kumaris, so they think that we have come for solutions to our problems. Very few people, they come to understand God or understand themselves. Most people come with the objective that we want to get rid of our problems or whatever is troubling us, and we're here for troubleshooting. But then Baba will, so as soon as you come, we will tell you, do the course. Yes. And then in the course, we are not directly telling you the solutions to your problems. What we are doing rather is, we are giving you the introduction of the soul and the introduction of God, introduction of the Supreme Soul, and why. Because there is a very interesting law, and I have recited this in the course also. No problem is ever solved with the same consciousness with which it is created. So you are facing, or you are where you are, or you are feeling what you're feeling, or you are doing what you are doing, or you're getting what you're getting because of your consciousness, your state of consciousness. And if that doesn't shift, then nothing else can shift. And what is consciousness? Your sense of self, your sense of who you are, your sense of who you belong to, your sense of your possibilities and your potential. That is your consciousness. And when we are body conscious, so today Baba uses a very interesting word that being body conscious is like dangling upside down. So if somebody is turned upside down and they are dangling in that position, then what happens? They see everything in the reverse of what it actually is. Yes, so you would see the upside down as downside up. So that is how your whole perspective changes. And similarly, Baba says that when you start thinking about yourself as a body, it is like that, dangling upside down. And then what you have done is all the power that lied within you, you have started thinking that it lies outside. Yes. So instead of knowing that it is all inside out and you are creating whatever is outside, you started thinking that I am inside, and this body is everything, and then whatever is happening in the physical world is bound to affect me and my feelings. So you started thinking that you are just a person who has to feel and react to everything that's happening outside, rather than understanding that everything that's outside is actually created by you, your state of being. And then what happened is you put in a lot of effort to change everything outside, but absolutely no effort to sustain yourself from within. And that is why, the inner self got more and more neglected every day. And here we are, absolutely empty right now. So, this is why Baba says that it is very important to understand that the consciousness is the main thing, knowing that you are the soul and you are the doer, and everything around you is just a product of what you are doing or how you are being. And then working on yourself is the way to better, or bring everything outside into alignment. So this is what we need to understand here. And this is why Baba says that introduce everyone to the knowledge of the soul. But more important than that is the knowledge of Baba, because we don't understand who a soul is or what the soul is like until and unless you have a reference point for who the soul is like. Yes, so just like a child, what is the difference between a child who has parents and a child who is an orphan? The child who is an orphan doesn't have a reference point for who he is. He doesn't have a reference point for who, what he is capable of, or what are his qualities, or what is his religion, or what are his, so the child finds a reference point in the parent. So the child draws his religion, caste, capacities, capabilities, process of thinking, everything from the parent. If the parent says you can, so the child knows I can. Or, the child sees that my parent can do it, so why can't I? And I remember, there was a time when people didn't have to go to management schools to run businesses, because when the parent is a businessman, then the child knows I can do business. And you didn't need an MBA degree. You just knew, people said it's in my blood, but it's not in your blood, it's in your consciousness. And Baba says similarly, you need to know who you are. You are a soul. And who are you like? You are like your father, the supreme soul. And when you understand who Baba is, so just think about Baba. Baba is such a tiny point of light, just like you and me. We are tiny points of light, and then Baba is also a tiny point of light. But in that point of light, he is the ocean, he is the Almighty. And he changes this whole wide world. Look at this world. It is such an impure world. And he's the transformer of this whole wide world and fills this world with peace and joy and changes it from Kaliyug to Satyug. So if my Baba can change the sansar, can I not change my own sanskar? Can I not, be that small squirrel helping God in his big task? So we hear about God's helpers, and when you realize that I am God's child and I'm made in His image, and whatever Baba is capable of, I'm also capable of. And do you know that whatever are Baba's titles, Baba says you are master in them. So Baba says, just like um, in older times, when you named a child, you would say Master Bablu, Master Chintu. So that way, Baba says, you are Master God. And Baba says, I am the ocean of peace, you are the Master ocean of peace. I am the ocean of joy, you are the Master ocean of joy. So you are not less than me. And Baba says that is why knowing Baba is very important. Because when you know Baba, you understand what being a soul means. You understand who you really are. And Baba says this is why it's very important. And why do we pay so much attention to introducing Baba? Because this is the most important. And then Baba says, every child of Baba, anybody comes to you with a problem, tell them the solution lies in consciousness shift. And until and unless you recognize your father, you recognize who you really are, who you belong to, you cannot have consciousness shift. Your sense of self has to shift from I am weak, I need help, to I am the most powerful, I'm the child of the most powerful, and I am here to help. And when that happens, then you take power from the supreme helper, and that automatically happens because the way you position yourself in your attitude, in your awareness, in your consciousness is the key to, connecting with Baba. So when you position yourself as God's child, then you start, Baba's energy, Baba's vibrations, powers, virtues, everything you start drawing. So Baba says this one very important thing that give everyone Baba's introduction. And you have to give the introduction of the soul, but they will understand what a soul means only when they know me. So this is one thing. And second thing, Baba interestingly talks about a very um, important thing today. So let me read it out for you first. So today, Baba says, one member of a family may belong to the confluence age, whereas another member may belong to the iron age. Both would live together. Then, when it is seen that he is not worthy of being called a swan, a tactic has to be created. Otherwise, he will continue to create obstacles. You have to make effort to make others similar to yourselves. Otherwise, they will continue to cause trouble. You would then have to find a way to move away from them. There will be obstacles. The knowledge is only given by you. You have to become very sweet. You also have to become destroyers of attachments. When you let go of one of the vices, others create complications. You then have to understand that everything is happening as it did in the previous cycle. By having this understanding, you just remain quiet. You have understood destiny. Even some children who explain very well fall, they are slipped with a lot of force. It is then said they must have been slapped in the previous cycle also. So now we need to understand this. So Baba says that, when you recognize Baba, when you are on the path of choosing purity, peace, love, over lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, then there will be a lot of obstacles and opposition. And it is very interesting to observe this because, when I came into Gyan, I thought that when I am becoming better, when I am getting rid of vices, then the whole world will be very happy and they will be very supportive of me. But then I slowly, gradually realized that when you want to be bad, then everybody supports you. But when you want to be better, nobody does. And this is why it is called Kali. And I will tell you of a very particular incident. So there was where the place where I lived when I took knowledge, just like you completed the course now, I also completed my course at that time. And the place where I was living, there was some houses away. There was this one brother, and he used to drink at night, and he would come back home at around 12 in the night, and then he would have a fight with his parents every night at 12. And the whole vicinity, there would be a lot of hue and cry at that time. And usually we used to have a break in sleep at that time. And then nobody went and told anything to this boy who used to create such a ruckus at night, every night. So, and then I came into Gyan, and I started, going every day to the center, and I started wearing a white dress. And then I had a neighbor, and she told me that you mustn't do this. So I said, why? Why shouldn't I go to the center? Why shouldn't I wear white? So she said, it doesn't suit your age. You should do this when you are older. And so I was all of 27 years of age at that time. So she told me you should do it when you're older. So I said, but don't you think that you should tell this to the person who creates a ruckus every night? So he also shouldn't be drinking like this at that age. But I never saw you doing this to him. So she said, no, no, but this is what children do at this age. So I said, okay, so it is okay if I drink and I trouble my parents at 12 in the night, but it is not okay if I wear a white dress and go to a center, so where is the trouble? I don't see it. And then she said, okay, I understand that you will not understand, so let's leave it. But then, slowly, gradually, I started because Baba has taught us that anybody who doesn't understand your practice will obviously not appreciate it. And how will they understand what you're doing? If you break cord with them, they will never understand. So you have to be the bridge. So I used to be in connection with her, and then she saw how much of, how much of virtues and powers I acquired on this path. And then she also started going to the center some years later. So this is one story. And then second thing, Baba says that sometimes when there are obstacles and you are trying to serve somebody, then you understand that they are not willing to be served, they are not being influenced by virtues, or they are not, they are just, increasing their, their obstacles for you, or they are just increasing their meter of putting obstacles on your path. Then what do? Then you make a choice to uh, distance yourself a little. And but it is not about physical distancing but emotional, and you should have physical, emotional, financial, all sorts of boundaries with these souls, because if you engage too much with them, then they will only cause more obstacles. So, I always feel that, when somebody is drowning and you are at the shore, what do? You lend your hand to that person who is drowning, right? So that you can pull them up. So, but you don't lend a hand so that they can pull you down into the water. So you must know, you must have the ability to discern when helping somebody is helping them, and when helping somebody becomes an act of self sabotage. And that is when you have to draw your line. And this discernment is the most powerful discernment that you need to have on the spiritual path. I will tell you one. So, there is this story in the world also about the frog. I don't know if you've heard it. So, you know that the frog has adaptability. So, it has the power to adapt. And when the frog is put in a vessel, and that vessel is put on the gas for, for the water to boil, so the frog is put in the water in a vessel, and that vessel is heating. So the frog has the ability to adjust to the rising temperature of the water. And sometimes what happens is the frog doesn't discern when to jump out. So then what happens is it keeps using its ability to adjust, keeps using it, and then it finishes its ability. And then it has no ability or no strength left to even jump out of the water. And then when the temperature rises beyond the point where it can adapt, then the frog dies in the water. So you must know where to draw the line. And Baba says that it is your duty to, serve every soul, help them, because they don't understand what you're doing. So they will cause obstacles, and you help them, you serve them, you help them understand, you help them, with your virtues, with your powers. But when they don't, and you have realized it, and you have that discernment to know that when is the point that you need to protect yourself now, then you start having that emotional boundary. when you make a choice to not get affected by whatever they do or say, because that temperature keeps rising, and then you don't have to try to help them, you just have to take care of yourself and be yourself, and of course give good wishes because that is your nature, but then not more than that. So this is also something that Baba talks about, but Baba says you shouldn't have attachment, because when you have attachment, then attachment is something that affects the intuition of the soul, the discernment of the soul, because attachment is a vice, and any vice doesn't allow your intellect to function properly. So, when there is attachment, you will not be able to make that decision. And then what happens is either you will not be able to, you will not be able to not help yourself in not causing emotional damage to yourself, or they will pull you back into the path of materialism and vices. So this is why when you are on a spiritual path, it is very important to understand this game and when to discern and how to discern. Okay, Om Shanti. So anybody wants to share anything, please do. Yes, wait a second. I don't know. Please raise your hand. I'll try to unmute you. Yes. Can you unmute? Hanji.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti. Okay. One after the other. Yes.
Vandana, sister, you may proceed.
Uh, we are studying here right now in order to go to the land of happiness.
Mm.
But main thing is pilgrimage of remembrance
Mm.
on this path. Then Baba teaches us how to battle in an incognito way through which we are able to conquer the Ravan or vices inside us. And then slowly and gradually those vices become just sightseeing for us. And we remain double light
True. True.
and start enjoying the actual life. Art of living also and art of dying also we learn here.
Correct. Yes. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, Om Shanti.
Okay.
Om Shanti Didi.
Om Shanti.
Uh, from today's class, I really like this point that my consciousness decides everything around me. And if it is true, I really need to find out, maybe I need to ponder more on this, that how it is happening. Maybe there is some spiritual law which guides this. I just want to add with the statement that maybe there is some spiritual laws which
It's
are,
a law of karma.
it is law of karma. Okay.
So
And
as you think, as you feel,
mm,
as you do, it radiates and it comes back.
so there is always spiritual karma working with each and everything around me. That is, even if I'm agitated with why the traffic is not
Yes,
going, and
yes, yes.
then I have law of karma with the traffic, that situation.
No, that's when you have an unfavorable situation,
Mm.
it means that there is a vicious karma which has led to this unfavorable situation. Anything that makes you feel, not peaceful, not happy, is a
Mm.
product of the seed of karma that you've sown. And for it to not be like that, for it to change, you need to sow a different seed.
Okay,
That's
so whatever is
that's
coming
why you
is
don't have to do anything about that. You just
okay.
have to
Change
individually.
my consciousness. Okay. So it's not about doing something superficially, but it is like feeling what you're not you should not feel, and try to feel what you're supposed to feel,
Yes,
and change my consciousness towards that.
correct.
And another thing which I liked is I don't know if I'll be able to. I will try to practice. If Baba is ocean of love, peace, and everything. I'm master of everything.
Yes, yeah.
But it happens sometime, but it doesn't always. I couldn't retain it actually always. But I will try that. I am master. I'm master God.
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank